back to our Quick Pod channel. We're going to be talking about cybersecurity today. You know how important it is to keep your house safe? Cybersecurity is kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's about keeping your information safe online. Like, you wouldn't just leave your front door unlocked, would you?
Right.
Well, in the online world, clicking on strange links or trusting every email you see is kind of like leaving that door wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. And you see, us humans, we're sometimes the weakest link when it comes to online safety. But don't worry, that's why we're here today. We're going to give you some practical tips to stay safe online.
Okay, so let's dive in. What exactly is cybersecurity? I mean, we hear it all the time. But what does it really mean?
Well, cybersecurity is all about protecting your stuff online. You know, your personal information, your computer, anything you use online, from bad guys who want to steal or damage it.
So it's like having a digital bodyguard.
Exactly. And there's this important idea we call the CIA triad. It kind of helps us understand the basics of cybersecurity.
CIA. Like spies.
Not quite. In this case, CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Think of it like this. Confidentiality means keeping your private information private. Like, you wouldn't shout your bank account password out in a crowded street, right?
Definitely not.
Right. Integrity means making sure your information stays accurate. Think about your online bank account.
Yeah.
Want to be sure the balance is correct? Nobody's messing with it, right?
Absolutely. So what about availability?
Availability just means being able to access your information whenever you need it. Imagine trying to log into your email, but it's constantly down or super slow. That's a problem, right?
Yeah, that would be really frustrating. So the CIA triad is all about keeping our information secret, accurate, and accessible. Why is this so important? Why should we care about cybersecurity?
Well, cybercrime is a huge problem these days. And it's not just big companies that get attacked. You know, even regular people like you and me can be targets. And the scary part is these attacks are often motivated by things like stealing money, political reasons, or even revenge.
Wow, that's pretty serious. So anyone can be a target. No one is too small.
That's right. No one is completely immune, which is why it's so important to understand the threats out there.
Okay, so what are some of the most common ways that these cyber criminals try to attack us?
Well, one of the most common tricks is called social engineering, and it's all about tricking people into giving up their personal information.
Ooh, that sounds sneaky. How does that work?
Okay, so imagine you get an email. It looks like it's from your bank. It says there's a problem with your account, and you need to click a link to fix it. But here's the catch. That link is actually fake. It's designed to steal your username and password.
So it's like a trap.
Exactly. And those fake emails are called phishing emails. They're like bait to lure you in.
Are there any warning signs we can look out for to avoid falling for these phishing scams?
Absolutely. You want to pay close attention to the sender's email address. Does it look a little off, unfamiliar? Be wary of any emails that sound urgent or demanding. And watch out for spelling or grammar mistakes. If something seems fishy, it probably is.
Good advice. Okay, so we need to watch out for phishing emails.
Yeah.
What about malware? I've heard that word before, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Malware is basically a short way of saying malicious software. It's basically any kind of program or code designed to harm your computer or steal your information.
So it's like a computer virus.
You got it. And just like there are many types of viruses that can make you sick, there are many types of malware out there. Viruses, worms, Trojans, spyware, they all have different ways of attacking your system.
Okay, that makes sense. I've always been curious about Trojan horses. How do those work?
A Trojan horse is a type of malware that disguises itself as something harmless, like a game or a useful app. But once you download and open it, it releases its harmful code into your computer.
So it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. It tricks you into letting it in, and then it causes all sorts of trouble.
Are there any other types of attacks we should be aware of?
Yeah. Let's talk about man-in-the-middle attacks. Imagine you're having a private conversation with someone, but there's this sneaky person hiding nearby, listening to everything you say.
That's creepy.
That's exactly what a man-in-the-middle attack does. The attacker secretly intercepts the communication between you and a website, stealing your information while it's being sent.
That's scary. What about DDoS attacks? I've heard those can shut down entire websites. How do they work?
A DDoS attack is like flooding a store with so many people that no one can get in or out. It overwhelms a website with tons of traffic, making it crash and become unusable.
So it's like creating a huge digital traffic jam.
Exactly. These attacks can be really disruptive, especially for businesses and organizations.
Wow. We've learned about a lot of different cyber threats. It's kind of overwhelming. But at least now we know what to look out for. So what can we actually do to protect ourselves?
That's a great question. And the good news is there are a lot of simple and practical steps you can take to stay safe online. One of the most important is creating strong passwords.
Okay. I know passwords can be a pain to remember. But why are they so crucial?
Well, passwords are like the keys to your online accounts. They're often the first line of defense against hackers. If you have weak passwords, it's like leaving your front door unlocked, making it super easy for someone to break in.
Okay, I get it. So how do we create strong passwords? Is it all about using those crazy combinations of letters, numbers, and symbols?
Actually, length is more important than complexity. The longer your password, the harder it is to crack. A good tip is to use a passphrase, like a series of words that's easy for you to remember, but hard for others to guess.
That's a good idea. I'm terrible at remembering passwords. Any other tips for managing them?
Absolutely. First, never use the same password for multiple accounts. That way, if one account gets hacked, your other accounts are still safe. Also, consider using a password manager. It's a program that securely stores and generates strong passwords for you.
Password managers sound helpful. Anything else we can do to boost our password security?
Yes. Enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. It adds an extra layer of security. So even if someone steals your password, they'll still need a second piece of information, like a code sent to your phone, to access your account.
Two-factor authentication seems like a smart move. Okay, so we've covered strong passwords. What are some other good online habits we could adopt to stay safe?
There are plenty of simple things you can do. Think before you click any links, especially in emails or on social media. Keep your software and apps up to date.
Why are updates so important?
Updates often include security patches that fix weaknesses that hackers could use. It's like patching up holes in your fence to keep unwanted visitors out.
That makes sense. So it's like keeping your digital defenses strong. Got it. What else?
And use antivirus software to protect your computer from malware. And when you're finished using an account logout, it's like closing the door behind you when you leave.
Right. That makes sense. It's all about being careful and not leaving any openings for those cyber criminals.
Exactly. And be careful about how much personal information you share online. You don't have to tell everyone everything about your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about those privacy settings? I see them everywhere, but I'm not always sure what they do.
Well, think of privacy settings like choosing who you invite into your home. You can decide who can see your posts and information on social media and other websites.
Okay, that makes it clear.
Yeah.
Are there any other tips you can share?
Yeah. Regularly clear your browser cache and cookies. They're like little trackers that store your browsing history and other information.
I always wondered what those were. So clearing them helps protect our privacy.
Exactly. And be careful when using public Wi-Fi. In places like coffee shops or airports, it's often not very secure, which means hackers could be snooping on your activity.
Oh, is using a VPN on public Wi-Fi a good idea?
Yes. A VPN is like a secret tunnel that protects your internet connection. It makes it much harder for hackers to steal your information.
Okay, that's a lot of helpful advice. I'm starting to feel more confident about staying safe online. But you know, sometimes it feels like a never-ending battle. There are always new threats popping up. What can we do to stay ahead of the game?
It's true. Cybersecurity is always changing. But don't worry, even small steps can make a big difference. And the more you know, the better prepared you'll be.
So knowledge is power.
Exactly. There are lots of resources available to help you stay informed about the latest threats and best practices. You can check out reputable security websites, read blogs, and even listen to podcasts like this one.
So staying informed is key. That makes sense. What about businesses? I imagine they have even more to worry about when it comes to cybersecurity, right?
Absolutely. Businesses often have a lot more sensitive information to protect, things like customer data, financial records, and trade secrets, so they need to have even stronger security measures in place.
What kind of things can businesses do to improve their cybersecurity?
They need to have a multi-layered approach. Think of it like building a strong castle with walls, moats, and guards. It's not just about having one type of protection, but having many layers working together.
So it's a combination of different strategies.
Exactly. On the technical side, businesses need things like firewalls to block unauthorized access and intrusion detection systems to spot suspicious activity.
So it's like having alarms and security cameras for their computer systems.
That's a good way to think about it. But it's not just about technology. Businesses also need to have clear policies and procedures. to guide their employees on how to handle sensitive information and stay safe online.
So the human factor is important for businesses too.
Absolutely. People are often the weakest link in any security system, so it's crucial for businesses to provide regular security awareness training to their employees. Teach them about things like phishing scams, strong passwords, and how to spot suspicious activity.
That makes a lot of sense. You can have the best technology in the world, but if your employees aren't careful, it's all for nothing.
Exactly. Another important thing for businesses is having a plan in place in case something bad does happen.
Like if they get attacked.
Right. They need to have a clear incident response plan that outlines what to do if there is a security breach. This includes things like how to contain the damage, recover lost data, and report the incident to the appropriate authorities.
So like having a fire drill for cyber attacks.
Exactly. You always hope you never have to use it, but it's better to be prepared.
So with cybersecurity, it's all about managing risk.
You got it. You can never eliminate risk completely, but you can take steps to minimize it. It's about being aware of the threats, taking precautions, and being prepared in case something does happen.
That's a great way to sum it up. So what's the most important takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the main takeaway is that cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. It's not just an IT problem or a business problem. It's something we all need to be thinking about and taking steps to protect ourselves.
It's like taking care of our health. We all need to eat right, exercise, and get enough sleep to stay healthy. The same goes for our online safety. We need to develop good cyber hygiene habits to stay safe in the digital world.
I love that analogy. It's about being proactive and taking ownership of our online safety. And remember, it's not about being perfect or becoming a tech expert. It's about taking small steps and being mindful of the risks.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. Cybersecurity is constantly evolving, so we all need to be willing to learn and adapt as new threats emerge.
That's a great point. So what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you're not sure about something or think you might have been hacked. There are resources available to help you. Don't be afraid to reach out to a trusted source for guidance.
Yeah, it feels like we've covered a lot of ground today. Everything from the CIA triad to those social engineering tactics. It's been really eye-opening.
I agree. Cybersecurity can seem complicated, but it's so important for everyone to understand the basics, even if you're not a tech expert.
Yeah, and one thing that really stood out to me is that cybersecurity isn't just an IT issue or a business problem. It affects all of us. It's a human issue.
That's right. And the good news is that even small changes in our behavior can make a big difference in protecting ourselves and our information online.
Exactly. Like choosing strong passwords, unique passwords for all our accounts, and thinking twice before clicking on any links, especially from senders we don't recognize.
Absolutely. It's all about being mindful and proactive, taking those simple steps to create those good cybersecurity habits.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into cybersecurity, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Don't let the complexity of cybersecurity overwhelm you. Just focus on taking small steps to improve your online safety. Every little bit counts. It all adds up.
That's great advice. And remember, there is lots of resources available. If you need help or have questions, don't be afraid to reach out to a trusted source for guidance.
Absolutely. There are many experts and organizations out there dedicated to helping people stay safe online. You don't have to go it alone.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into cybersecurity.
It's been a pleasure. Stay safe out there.
And if this conversation benefited you, then please subscribe and one simple like and comment what you think.